Hey guys, so today I'm pretty much just gonna talk to you guys because, just hit 'em with the hey guys, back like I'm in 2012. Okay, today I just want to kind of talk about just some random topics on my head, just completely random things that I just think about when I'm riding my bike to work or in the shower or when I'm making a map in Far Cry, just thoughts that will pop up in my head. And so these are just, like, I'd say six thoughts, just, you know, thought I could do something, post something. Maybe you guys will like it, maybe you don't. If you like it, if you don't, feel free to dislike it. That's fine. I actually encourage that. It lets me know what people actually think about my videos. So it gives me an idea of what maybe just let me know what I should work on as I talk because I'm kind of not new to this say, but more like maybe I might butcher a few things. So feel free to let me know if there's anything I could work on. I really appreciate that. So the first topic I'm going to get into right now is how creative minds sleep the least. So this one is kind of like a lot of people are going to, this could be debatable. Um, you know, so what I'm going at this is when you have somebody who has a very creative mind, somebody who's always thinking of possibilities, typically they're going to sleep a lot less than the person who is always working. Now, people hear this and they're like, "Oh, you have this dude on their video game or reading these books and they're up for days and days or they're drawing or writing, they're just they're no they're just lacking, they're worthless." But the thing is that I want to get into is the reason that it is so important to acknowledge that, I believe, is because those are the ones with the most potential. A lot of the time you'll have people who, they, let's say they want to make a game or make a movie or something or write a book, and they're up for days and days and days, and they just work like, let's say, minimum wage job, or they live with somebody or whatever it is. um, People are going to look at them and say, oh, they're just they're a loser. But the thing is, you have to understand the reason they're at where they are at is because they have so much drive to get what they want that they will do anything they have to. Um, for example, right now I'm working. Clearly, I'm still keeping up on my dream, and however, I feel that I can use that as an ability for me to, give myself time to take a break from that. Because what will happen is I'll get so obsessed in my creative thoughts that if I don't have work, I will just do nothing. And don't get me wrong, I love working. Working is something. If I'm working hands-on, hard work, constantly moving, I enjoy it. You know, some people don't. Some people do. I'm one of those people that do. And so, um, just when you see someone who's up constantly and they're always thinking about things, and they're always like, maybe they're in class and they're always drawing or something, maybe they're always listening to their music, and you just see them going like this and stuff, and they're just like, it's just some loser kid that's failing class or whatever. You have to remember that, or realize, or think about the fact, at least, is the fact that that kid that you're looking at thinking, oh, they're just a loser, you have to remember, okay, what brought them to this point. When I was 5 years old, I don't know if you heard that stomach growled. Okay. When I was 5 years old, I promised my mother that I was going to make music, I was going to sell records, and I was going to buy her a home or even make her a home. 5 years old, I tugged on her sleeve and I told her, I promise you, I'm going to be a rock star one day. And so ever since that day, I've had this drive to make music. And so kids have seen me in class writing, sketching, thinking I'm crazy, see me tired because I was up all night or whatever it was. They don't realize the reason that I'm like that is because I have that drive. And there's so many people out there that really just have this huge dream and are just looked down and, like, spit on or whatever, made fun of. But you have to, or you should at least think about the fact that, why are they doing that? Maybe it's something really big to them that they want to make big for other people. You know what I mean? So that's just one of the topics. That was just one I wanted to get off my mind because I was thinking about it a lot. Now this one's a little bit of a different topic. This one actually has research done into it. This one is just that the last one was my thought. This one could still be debatable, possibly. I'm not sure. I just know I've read this on a dot. It was a .edu, and I was looking into it, and then I found a couple articles on it. But it says how OCD can cause fears. So people think of OCD as okay, um, they want everything perfect and clean. OCD doesn't mean you want it clean. It means you want it organized to your standard, to how you want it. But the thing is, OCD isn't just standard and setting things to how you want it in the sense of objects. It works in your brain too. It's a lot more mental than it is physical or physically around you. So, I'm not just gonna look at, oh, that bottle's there and have to fix it, although that's kind of it was my cologne thing is just broken. It's whatever. And I see it all the time and it annoys me, but that could be possibly a part of OCD. But one part of OCD that really struck me that maybe someone else can relate to is the fear to harm others. Um, so that one was a little confusing to me. The fear to harm others. So when you have OCD, it causes you to want to have things set to how you want it to be. And when you really care about people and you really, you know, want to look out for people, the last thing you want to do is hurt them. So not necessarily, you'll see kids that are being pushed around and beaten all the time, kids that are big, kids that are small, and they're beaten. And everybody's just gonna think they're a wimp. But you have to remember, some of the times it's not because they're just some little, scaredy cat or whatever. It's the fact that maybe that's a fear of theirs. Whether it's they're scared that they could do something dangerous, maybe they're scared that they could get in legal trouble, maybe they're scared that they'll hurt you and harm you, maybe they're afraid of possibly putting your life at risk or their life at risk. There's a lot more things that go into it than just being scared, because nowadays when you see a fight, you don't get one or two people. No, you get, you know 6 7 kids jumping on some little kid because maybe he said something mean to them, like, or maybe something rude, and I get it, that'd piss anybody off. But if you really want to settle it, either talk it through, or if you do end up becoming or causing it does end up becoming a physical altercation, what I would say is don't bring your friends into it. Don't bring knives into it. Don't bring guns into it, because not only when you bring a gun are you clearly having the intent to harm or kill. If that doesn't do anything for you, maybe think about the fact of what you if you get caught, who will be affected, what might be the odds, like, of you leaving. What if you don't get to see your family or the girl you love or whatever, for years, or the person you love, whoever. I mean, think about those things before you do that, because for all you could pull a knife on them thinking you're about to mess them up. They pull a gun on you. Maybe you pull a gun on them and they get that gun out of your hand. Somebody swoops up on, and next thing you know, you're getting shot. So there's a lot of things that go into it. So the fear of harming people isn't necessarily just or just, oh, they're a scaredy cat. It's they think about things so thoroughly that they will do anything that they have to, even if it means getting their ass beat, just to keep them alive and to keep their moral conscience, like, well. Yeah, it doesn't feel good knowing that you got beat up, you know. But if you think about the fact, like, what if I did beat up that kid? What if I broke his nose, went to the hospital, I went to jail? What if I ended up hitting him just right and killed him, or threw him and he got seriously injured? Or what if I swung, missed, messed up my hand, so much, or hit the wrong person? So there's so much more that goes into it. So whenever you see that kid that is getting bullied and small, don't just make fun of him and think, oh, he's just a wuss. Think about, maybe he has a fear of harming them because he has thought through it pretty thoroughly. All right. So another one I'm gonna point out is the strength of riding a bike. Shows, or riding a how riding a bike shows strength. Okay. So this one is, you get, people that drive to work. They drive to work, and usually, not usually, but some of the time, especially around when they're around my age and they have a car, sometimes you'll have that kid that just kind of slacks. That person, it doesn't even have to be a kid. I'm not saying everybody that rides a car is a slacker. I'm not saying that. I want you to understand that. And I'm not saying everybody who rides a bike is strong, but I'm just saying from my personal experience and my life experience, Riding a bike shows a lot more strength because when you riding a car, turn on your car, drive over there, when you're walking, you could walk, you don't have to exert a lot of energy to walk. You just, you could maybe, if you're thinking, oh, you have to run to work because it's far, you could leave an hour or two early if you really have to and just walk there. But when you see somebody on a bike, you have to remember, no matter what, no matter the circumstances, downhill or flat, they still have to exert energy to get to work. Um, and even if you're thinking downhill, they don't have to exert energy, just a cool ramp. You have to think about, what about when they get back home? How do they get back? What if it's a really hot day? What if it's a really cold day and they ride their bike? Don't just think about it as, oh, they don't, they're just riding a bike, because some people do this, they're just riding a bike. They don't care for how they look, how people see them, when really it's like, they have to exert energy and strength to get to work, which isn't just physical, it's mental as well. All right, so this one's just a cool little concept. Going away from that, and these are just some cool ideas. So I went over the three, oh, maybe it's six things, I don't know, the three serious things, or serious, just cool topics I wanted to get off my head. Now these are the cool topics. No, I'm just kidding. But no, so there's this game idea that I've had for a while, and if somebody's able to make it to life, oh my gosh, please reach out to me, please. This is what I've had for a while, but it's called Paranoia. And the game, when you hear Paranoia, you think of a horror game right off the bat, probably. Um, but that's the cool thing, is this game that I want to create brings all those genres together. So you get, these people that are playing like Far Cry, or Assassin's Creed, and they're similar, but they're also separate. Or you get Outlast and you get Call of Duty, completely different games. But within those, you can find a few similarities. Now, what if we found a way to make those similarities into a single game? So, what I think would be cool is a big part of the game that I think would be amazing is music, and similar to how they do movies, the camera angle. Now, camera angle is a big thing in movies, and I think it could be even a bigger thing in video games if done properly. Um, so, for example, I want to bring horror, shooting, like shooter game, uh, fighting, so like combat, stealth, and adventure, all into the same realm while keeping it a campaign and finding a way to somehow maybe put a multiplayer in there. So Paranoia, you play as this dude. I'm still writing the story, so I don't know. I haven't made all the names yet, but I have a couple out, and I'll just keep it a secret for now. Maybe kind of add, maybe make it so you want to, know a little more about it. So you play as this dude, and pretty much how I want the game to start is very similar to how a movie would start, where you're just, pedal to the metal, you're driving, right? So, well, actually, before you get to the driving, immediately the game I want to start with a song. Um, I'm still thinking of the song. There's a few song ideas I have. One of them is like Aqua Regia by I can't remember. I'll put it in the comments if I remember. But but there's like a couple songs. Sales, even one of them by AWOL Nation. And clearly I would have to talk to these people, which I alone could not. I don't think they'd ever hear me, and I don't have the money for that. So these are, like I'm saying, ideas I have so far. Maybe even make like my own music, or have people help me make music for the game specifically that kind of is similar to those songs. You know what I mean? Without parodying them or stripping them directly, covering them. But what I want is, I want it to start, so you're running, right? It goes third person, zooms into you in first person, right? You're doing parkour, you're jumping out of buildings and shit. So I want like intense parkour while you're getting chased and shot at. And next thing you know, you slide down, you go by, you hijack this car, and you speed off. And as you're doing all of this, the music will So you will have a time limit of how long you can stay still because I wanted to make it so you can actually die during the very beginning of the game. So it's like you have to pay attention because I want it to feel intense. So the music stays to beat. And so if the player stands still for like 5 seconds, the lyrics don't continue until they can get to the place where I want the lyrics to continue and the beat to continue or escalate. Kind of like in Little Big Planet or Sackboy Adventure, similar to that. Um, you know, and so you have them going through, and as they're running through these buildings, going by doors, people are running by or whatever. The creators, whoever, the main people and directors or the producers or whatever in the game music I want to show. So if I have someone do, you know if I have somebody design, like one of the like help me design the map, the designer or the one who put the map together for me, I would have their name there. Someone who helped me with the music, I'd have their name there. And then my name would be last. I would want to show everybody else's name first, just because I think it would be really cool to actually bring those people into light. Because if I'm going to be the one with the whole idea of the game, of course I'm going to get credit. But I want to make sure that those who won't get seen as much get credit throughout the game. So throughout the game, I want to hide their names in there. And I just think it would be a cool idea, or maybe have them, each one of them, write a note that you can find in the map. I think that would be really cool, giving every single creator a map, a thing to put that they can put their own of in the map, if that makes sense. Just because I feel like if you're working on the game, whether it's writing a couple lines or it's um, maybe designing one thing for the game, one asset, you were still a creator of the game because you helped create the game, you helped bring something into the game that brought it alive. So that would be really big for me. And then you know what I want to do is I want to make it so as you're speeding, right, you turn, you look over, and either you get shot or a crash, and then it cuts down and you wake up, and then that's how the game starts, and you start in first person. And I actually have somewhere, hopefully that doesn't ruin the quality, somewhere around here, I actually believe, I think it's in here. No, it's in my, I can copy and paste it into a couple of them because I don't want it getting taken from me not be told about it. Because if it's happening, I want to know. Even if I don't get money for it, I just want the game to exist. That's all I want, and I want to know it's being made. So if somebody does take my idea, yeah, I'll be upset, but um, I just want a game that people will enjoy, people will love, that doesn't get boring, and I just think that doesn't have microtransactions, and I don't want this to be a $60 game, because you get people that see this game like, oh wow, whoa, this is so cool, and they're like, oh, I don't have the money, and people say, oh, just get the money, and it's not that easy for some people. So, and even then, $60 is a lot of money for a video game, even if it lasts forever. So I'm thinking maybe like a $20 game at most. um, and I get it, you have to make profit, but when you get, if you sell a $60 game and you sell a million copies, that's $60 million, theoretically, I believe, because tax and everything. But if you sell it for 20, and then instead of 1 million people buying it, you get so much more people can afford it. You get 6 million people buying it, and now you have, you know whatever, like you see the point I'm going at. You get a lot more profit from it, and a lot of that profit I don't want going directly to me and my mansion and my car. I think it would be cool to donate the money to those who need it, and those who could really use it. Whether or not I set up, or talk to people who can directly find people who really need that and give it to them, or I donate it to, like, like cancer or something. I think that would be really cool, and not necessarily because I just, a lot of it's because I feel like, if I was in that place, I would really hope somebody would do that for me, and I just think it would warm a lot of hearts. So I think that would be a really cool idea. Maybe donating a lot of the money to people with like schizophrenia who can't afford their medication, or with anxiety or depression who just really need help. Donating to those who need it. Maybe along the lines of paranoia. I think that would be a cool idea personally. And cancer does involve that because I believe that causes a lot of paranoia, as you would probably imagine. Now, that's just a few ideas for my game. Um, it's not a whole lot, but I'll explain more as I make more of it. I already have a whole map idea with like the slums and the ruins and the city and the mountain and all this stuff. Um, but yeah, so that's it for that portion. Now I'm on to number 5, cool Minecraft concepts. Now, probably haven't heard of that word in ages. Minecraft. Whoa. Yeah. Probably thought I was gonna say Fortnite there. Yeah. So one that I think is really cool that they're experimenting with is crawling. The only problem is it is so broken. And like it either works or it doesn't. Like sometimes it will, sometimes it won't. I don't know why they don't just do what every other game in the world does. Hold it. Just hold crouch in your crawling. And if you're in water and it's not swimmable level, just don't crawl. I mean, yeah, that would suck. But I mean, at least, or maybe if you hold it when you're out of the water and then go into the water, you're still crawling. And then you just start swimming. Something like that. Just make it simple. Or maybe make it so you can tap crouch underwater instead of having to hold crouch when you're in the water. Yeah, so that was just one that was just, I mean, it's already technically in the game, but it's not in the game. It's experimental. And when you turn that on, can't get trophies. So, um, which would mean that you can get to end city easier, I guess. So I guess that's probably part of the reason why the fridge just started shaking. But there's that, and then one that I think would be really cool. So here's the thing: is I get keeping it medieval, and I don't mean add a AR-15 and an M4A1 and RPG-7 into Minecraft, but add things that can replicate that in the medieval stage. So maybe if you get, not having to get an enchantment to, or even if it is an enchantment, honestly, full auto crossbow or something along those lines, or a slingshot to distract mobs or something like that would be so cool. So the slingshot, like you could distract a mob, and it's like, if they didn't see you do it temporarily, it distracts them for like 3 seconds, whatever, just so you can run by, even if it's like the warden. Use maybe covered in wax covered pebble rock, distract the warden, or not wax, whatever they're attracted to. I don't know, but that's just a really cool concept. Something full auto, or maybe if you do bring in a gun, maybe bring in like a musket. That which could actually be doable. Maybe just get like a couple iron ingots, or and piece of wood and some kind of redstone thing, or like a trigger, or what is it called, tripwire thing, whatever, for the trigger, and it kind of makes sense to an extent. And so I think something like that, and then just the ammunition, just like gunpowder and whatever could match that. I don't, the lead's not necessarily in the game. Maybe like gunpowder with, even if it's netherite. Yeah, netherite's super hard to find, but just having it in the game at all would be cool. Actually, netherite would be terrible. Yeah, that'd be a really bad idea. Maybe make it so you can make or just ammo, even if it's metal, just like gunpowder, metal. One musket ball. But no, I think that would be really cool. And another one's vehicles. So vehicles is a big one because they're like, oh, how are you gonna drive a car up, that or whatever. I think adding wagons into the game would be so cool. And I already see people going like, how would you craft that on a crafting table? That's my thing. Now I'm going into this. A new, different form of crafting table. Where you take a, how could I even make it? Smithing table, crafting, just all that crafting shit. And then on the ends, just fucking whatever crazy block you think should go there. But a crafting table that's like a 9x9. And the thing is, I want to make it so you can't craft regular items on there, and the crafting table, of course, can't craft any of that on there. So it gives you a reason to have them separately, because then you'll have somebody with that, and they'll never go back to a crafting table, other than like in a cave or whatever. But I want to make it so there's that, but you can only craft larger items on there, which then would bring in like a wagon. Or one that I think would be really cool is a uh, catapult would be really cool as well. And even though it would be like, oh, how could you do that accurately, how would you do this, what I think would be cool is maybe just, you know, having like a little, like how they have the beacon light, which is that, you know, going to whatever you want to shoot, or just particle effects going to where you're going to hit. And just a catapult, maybe make it so you have to make the ammo on that. And just like a bunch of like smooth stone blocks, you know, because smooth stone's not easy to make. You have to keep furnacing it and furnacing it, which it's not hard to make, but it's not easy to. You can't just get it, you know. So something like that I think would be really cool. Um, so yeah, that was a cool concept for me. And then I believe there's one more. Stealth, stealth in Minecraft. I think that they should make it so, yeah, when you're wearing like a skeleton mask, skeletons won't see you as easy. When you're wearing a zombie mask, zombies won't, other than wither skeleton masks, which will scare away certain mobs. Um, but make it so each mask has its own actual perk to it rather than just like camouflage. Like skeletons can perform stealth, and like what I think they should do is bring back the have like the main hit. So instead of like how they used to have block, have that be heavy hit, and then the other one be a normal hit, and then of course critical hit. So you have three different attacks. Heavy hit is slow, but it pushes them back. Then you have light attack, which just hits them, and then heavy attack, which just doesn't push them back as far, but it does more damage. I think that would be cool. And then I can go about this all day, man. Minecraft could have so much crazy things in there. They're losing potential. One thing they need to bring back is dolphin diving, swimming. I don't know why it was taken out. Like, I get it, it's not realistic, but nor is walking on water like Jesus. I mean, let's be real, guys. If we're gonna walk on water like that, just bring back dolphin diving. It was just a fun, cool way, and it was actually more realistic. What? More realistic than that? Like, no. So yeah, I think that would be really cool. Um, and also, real quick, one more I think would be cool is keys. So having chests that need keys, or doors that need keys, and I get it, you have levers, you have this, you have that, but a key where you have a netherite door, and the door can't be broken, and in order to open that, you need to make a key with the netherite or something, netherite scrap. And so the reason I think it would be so cool is because let's say you have somebody random join your game, or you want to make a realm server, or you want to do something cool, or you don't trust people, or whatever it might be, I don't know, and you want to lock your door, have that key on you, and then you just lock it, and then you leave and nobody can get in, and then you unlock it. um and the problem, like, if you lose your key, I just think it would be a cool idea to have a separate thing for the key so you don't lose it, and once you have it, you have it. um but and then maybe find ways around it and through it, and whatever. Whatever would be cool. But that was just a few cool concepts I think would be really cool. Maybe for chess too, you know, if you have like diamonds and you don't want somebody going through your diamonds. Some people are really like iffy about diamonds. I've never really been. I've been more like iron. Don't take my iron. But I mean, iron's so common, I don't even care about that really. The only thing I'd say is like, don't use my netherite for a hoe. I think that would be a pretty triggering one. But other than that, that ends it there for Minecraft concepts, and I have more. I'll probably talk about it another day. But yeah, now going on to Far Cry 7 ideas. So You told me it was gonna be a city when I looked at Far Cry 6. I thought I was gonna be in a whole fucking city. You're funny. No, um, actually make a city in the game, and I don't mean a city that's a little tiny that on the map. I mean a city, bro. Like it takes over half the city. And what I think would be cool is having like the slums, having like I was talking about in my game, the ruins, and having the main city. So you have all these different areas and stuff. And that's actually where how I based my map is I took names of real places in my general area and then made it this. Now the cities clearly I don't live near a city. However, just taking names of places. When I actually have a note right here. One of them was so I have like the outskirts, Richlinos, residential Orling, um, city would be Rico City, uh, Anfield Industrial, slums would be Plores, mountains, Parlia, ruins Vista, and then Lake Orlos, and then Los Minstia River. These are just random ass places I took around my general area, and I made it into names. And so I just think it would be really cool to. Oh, that's the end of it, anyways. Really cool to if Far Cry did something like that. So brought actual cities. So as you could see, I mean I already read out all the areas you can go to that I want on the map, but within good size. So yeah, the city would be bigger than 6, hopefully is what I would hope. Slums would be about the size of the 6 city, and then ruins would be about the size of um you know how like you have those small cities in Far Cry 6, like the size of one of those, ruins, but you have a couple really big buildings, maybe all those like combined because there's like they're really small, but there's a few of them combined. And then, you know, slums so yeah, so I think I already went through that. But then I have the outskirts, residential, city, industrial, slums, mountains, ruins, lake, and then the river is just something that parts the mountains, the country, and the you know lake and city. Um, so I just think that would be really cool. Um, actually thinking of more of a city or making it more diverse rather than I'm in a jungle the whole game. It's so basic. I'm sorry. I don't have anything against Far Cry 3 other than the fact that I just feel like it was just so basic. And people say the story was just so immersing when I don't know, I couldn't really get into it. It was something I mean, I liked it until I played the other games. I never touched 3 again because I was like 3's all right, but it's the gameplay. Yeah, the story wasn't bad, but the gameplay I just couldn't get into. And then, there was middle of the story the game did start to kind of curve off for a minute and just didn't really make sense for a little bit. And then it started slowly straying back, but still never really fully made sense. I mean, 4, you're actually there for a reason. 5, you're there for a reason. 6, there's a reason. And, there's all these reasons for those ones. But for 3, you're just some kid skydiving and ends up going to some crazy island. Like, wouldn't they know not to tell them, like, hey, don't skydive here? This is a bad territory to go. I don't. And then, like, you see him partying and everything and going to these crazy, like, city parties, but that's not in the game. So I don't understand. Like, that doesn't compute to me. Maybe I missed something and I really, but it just doesn't add up to me. But, anyways, so making it so there's a continue to put a reason there, um but you know and then not just having it one place, like, oh, it's all the Himalayas, it's all, then Far Cry 3 or Far Cry 5 changed it up a little bit where they had like 3 different regions, but the regions were just all so similar. I mean, I could definitely tell when I was in like Jacobs or Faith's or John's. John's is more valley. Faith's is more like uh, dry, and then Jacob's is mountainous. It wasn't bad, but that town was not a town. That wasn't. I've never seen a town. Even the smallest towns I've been to are bigger than that. It's like that's not a town at all. There's like maybe 6, 7 houses there, a couple buildings. It was too rural. So it was way too rural for me. Maybe more urban some areas. It could also be that maybe these people making these were raised in very urban areas and want to make rural areas. But when you're raised your whole life in the outskirts, in the mountains, you want to see you want to try to create, and see the city life throughout something that you can enjoy and run around in. And so I just think it would be cool to have a large city and still continue to have your diverse regions throughout the game. And then another thing I think that they should add is proning. um, Far Cry's been slacking on that since ever. um, since their beginning, they've slacked on proning. And clearly bring back arcade, please, and just put every single asset, at least just from it doesn't even have to be from the Watch Dogs or whatever. I don't care about. No, bring like the Far Cry 6 assets because they did have really cool assets. Bring like the Far Cry 5 still give me maybe some of that Assassin's Creed assets. Give us some really cool assets though. Give us your best of the best assets. You have this crazy giant mansion in Far Cry 5, but you can't place it. Even if you couldn't walk into it, just having it in your map, you could add a couple mansions. It would be cool. So I just think doing that would be a really cool touch. And maybe if you do Watch Dogs, do Legion. Don't do the other one. That or the original Watch Dogs. I don't know why they didn't go with Watch Dogs 2. I'm pretty sure it's out at the time. I could be wrong though. But just more assets because the thing is, yeah, they tried to give us a lot, but the fact that they're just not updating it, I get it. It's like, oh, you know, we want people to focus on our game. But the thing is, if I make that game Paranoia, you best believe every single asset that exists in that game is going to be on a map creator that anyone can use, whether it's PlayStation, Xbox, or PC, all the exact same layout, all like similar to the Far Cry console layout because the PC one's really confusing. All the same layout, all the same functions, and even maybe allow the player to put cutscenes into it. Allow the player to not just have them run to something, but direct them in the way of where they go. Okay, I go in this car, I drive this car over here, I get out, I do this real quick, I walk over here, make the AI act. You know, whether and you have all this AI voice now. Use that for the player to interact with. Maybe they type out what they want it to play, with what they want it to say. You pick one of the voices that are given to you, or you can adjust the volume, and then it creates that NPC looking at you, talking to you. So not only do you have this one storyline, the main storyline, but you have these other ones, regardless if it's beat the main game and then you unlock this. That's fine because then they at least got to acknowledge your game, because sometimes maybe they won't even touch your game. Maybe that's what they wanted. They wanted people to acknowledge theirs rather than others. That's how I'd probably do it for Paranoia. Once you beat the main story, you get all of these other people's creations. And I think that would be so cool to hop on the game that I made or thought of or concept or whatever, and see what other people would like to have in it. Having people make these giant luscious mountains with deteriorating cities and monsters crawling everywhere. Like that's not in the main story, but somebody made it out of things I had designed or thought of, out of the game I had created in my mind, and made it into something that they wanted. And that's just so cool because you get to see it, not how other people's minds think, but just it's like they get to create a game, You know, like a lot of people want to create a game, but they don't have the money, they don't have the assets, they don't have the time. But going onto an arcade editor, you can do that like that. So I just think that would be really cool, is to at least in Far Cry, maybe not have to go through all that depth, but just make it so you can at least have a set of things for the NPC to do, so that way they don't just like run along, stop, do it, and then go like this for 5 seconds and then run along, you know, like, or maybe they just get caught like doing that same animation like 20 times, you know, just something I think would be really cool. Um, I mean, some people have managed to get the NPCs to go in cars. I still haven't been able to. I don't know why they won't, but they just won't for me. Maybe it's the control zones because I use control zones all the time, but I don't know. But yeah, those were a few concepts, and then just one more. It's just I would say bring back all of your takedowns and the biggest skill tree ever. Don't have a skill tree where it's simplified because oh, it's simple. You're dumbing people down. What you need to do is make it complex. Make it so they almost don't understand it. Make it like you're picking a perk in Dead by Daylight. Yeah. So I think that what they need to do is they need to take every single takedown that has ever been in the Far Cry franchise, recreate it, and put it in that game as a perk. And maybe if it's not like getting a tattoo, because that was something I did like about Far Cry 3 was the tattoo. That was a really cool concept. After that, it's just it's just you just have perks. Maybe have it so with everyone you have a scar, or maybe if you get a certain amount of perks, you or like certain perks, you unlock new things. So like once you finally get vehicle vehicle takedown from above or from far, something crazy. I'm not ripping it, by the way. I'm like stretching. But no, what do you call it? Just you know having it so the player doesn't just look forward to getting that perk, but they look forward to what they can get from it. So if they get that takedown, maybe they get to use a pipe because maybe you don't only want to use knives. What if you do want to bring the Far Cry 5 type takedown? So maybe they get like a car tool. So if they get that, they can, rip something like the stick. Rip that. Maybe that's a takedown tool that you unlock once getting that. That you will, when driving, you take that off, you hit them with it, and then that's just something cool, something fun that, doesn't just make the player go, okay, he's out, okay, he's out. Something where I want every takedown to be, ooh, like all these new things, because after playing Far Cry for so long, I mean, every now and then in Far Cry New Dawn, I'm just like, ooh, but that's, after like 12 takedowns, you're just doing it. What I want is I want it to be where, and not just me, I say like just me, but I know there's many people out there that just think it would be so cool to you're running up and, you punch him, you knock him out, and then the next guy comes and, you have like, all these interactions where if you press this button, you can parry that, and then you grab the guy falling and you use his weapon. If you do it within a certain time after a certain takedown, and yeah, it would be a lot of time, it would be a lot of variations, but just imagine how immersed that player will become. They will, yeah, I know it sounds dangerous, but when you're talking about someone who just plays video games and has fun, like a normal human being, that becomes just such a cool, likable, aspect. Even if it's not takedowns, even if it's something as simple as repairing a car in the game, or if your tire gets shot, you don't pull out a welding tool and just start welding the glass on your screen, your windshield. No, something where like Far Cry 2, for example, that I loved about Far Cry 2, you pop the trunk, you crank it, you fill it with gas. That was cool. Something like that. I think that would be an amazing thing to bring back. So stop with the short, quick loot. This, I get it. It's time consuming to not do that. And whatever, you just want to release your game. But if you're really, let me put it this way: if you're really money hungry, if you're genuinely actually money hungry, then you're gonna make the game the best quality you could possibly make it, so people are gonna want to buy it. Because if we get another Far Cry, right? And I love Far Cry, my favorite game franchise, by the way. Thank you, Ubisoft. I love your games, but you need to step back, like, onto your game, because you're not doing it how you used to. You know, like, and they release a new game, and I go to loot someone, and it's just loot them, keep walking. I want to loot a chest, loot the chest. That's just boring. I get it's quick, but if I'm looting a chest and I feel, oh, there's this dude coming around, and I can just loot that chest and walk around the corner, that's easy. That makes the game less fun. But if I have to be like, okay, I have to time this. If I do this right now, he's gonna see me, so I have to take him out first. So you have to think before you do it. I don't know why they're not thinking about that. If they make it so, oh, I just, take open it, take him out, dumb. I want it. No, I pry that chest open. They can hear it if they're close enough. I open it. I scramble through some junk, grab whatever I need, even if it's the same chest animation. The animation's what counts because it's time. And you hold it maybe after, just something, or even if you press it. You just grab it, close it, and then you're done. That would be cool, and not just like, but something where you open it and you move a couple things and just grab what you're looking for and close it. That would be cool. That would be awesome. I would love that. Looting people, not just standing over them and absorbing their materials. No, walk up to them, check a couple of their at least just the Far Cry original animations where you would just at least, you know, but just like, or maybe like a time bar of how long it takes or something for each thing if you want to, or have it an accessibility option, or and so, you just check one of their pockets, pat their leg down, and turn their body over. Something as simple as that. It just makes the game feel more real and interactable. It just be such a cool touch. And I get Far Cry 2. Everybody hated the malaria pills, and yeah, the malaria pills were overdone. Not that they were a bad idea, but they were overdone. And the gun jamming, but just maybe something like every now and then, your character gets sick, and so you have to, use like an Advil or something because you get a headache and your screen warps or something. And I get it sounds dumb, but imagine like all the thought that would go into your game. You wouldn't just and not like Far Cry 2 where if you die and you get stuck in the spot where you're having a headache. No, we're like it's just completely random. It's not like, oh, since it happened 10 seconds after this save, it's going to happen every 10 seconds. No. If it happened 10 seconds after that save, you reset, maybe it doesn't happen that time. And again, it sounds like luck, but if you are keeping up on your materials and you're going around the map and you're interacting, you don't have to worry about that. So it makes the player not just have to go and get it. And I get speedruns are cool, maybe, I don't know. But just makes the player feel like they have like to actually run errands. And I know that sounds boring, but when you do nothing all day, that sounds kind of fun. So, um, you know, something, just make the game more interactable, make the game more alive, make it so you're not, looting animals and just again absorbing their material, where you, even if you're looking away, just tearing that, pulling it off, and you look down and they have a chunk on something. Like, come on, please. Like, that would just help you guys, not just you guys, genuinely actually benefit you guys with money if that's what you want, but benefit the player in the way of, oh, they're actually going to feel like it was worth that $60. It was actually enjoyable. The only reboot in the world, personally, I think would genuinely be worth $60 is if they fixed Far Cry 2. They lowered the gun jamming, made it so you didn't have to make a new gun every time it broke. They lowered the malaria pills, and they added stealth. Like, actually added real stealth, like regular Far Cry stealth. That would be so cool. Because they don't have that in Far Cry 2. So even if the next Far Cry they want to reboot, don't port Far Cry 3 again and call it a remaster. Because that was not a remastered Far Cry 3. I don't care what anybody says, that was a port. And I don't want to play the same exact game in the exact same quality. I get nostalgia, You guys have done that 3 times already. After Far Cry Primal, you did it. Far Cry 5, you did it. And then Far Cry 6, you did an event for it. Or I think it was 6. 3 times. Like, really? No. If you're going to bring any of the games back, reboot the second one. Actually reboot it. The first one, lost cause. But Far Cry 2. But serious, Far Cry 2 would be such a good game if they lowered the malaria pills, they, fixed the gun jamming, and they added real stealth into the game. And something else I think would be cool in Far Cry is darkness effect. Like in Thief, that's actually another part of my game paranoia that I was thinking of is the darkness effect. Where if you're in the dark, you don't get seen as easily. Like it's harder to see you if you're in the light. And like if you're wearing certain clothes, play like the NPCs can see you easier. If you're wearing a reflective jacket, it's not like you're invisible. No, that's dumb. So if you're wearing like old dark, even though it doesn't look as cool, it will keep you more hidden. Or maybe later in the game you can find better things in the in-game store, the non-pay money hungry store. You can just rack up points and buy a really cool thing you like. Because I don't know why everybody's going to microtransactions. You know, who was it? Some Battlefield? They wanted to add. Some dude wanted to add freaking. It was the dude to Unity wanted to add r- microtransactions for every reload. They would lose so much money. I think they would go actually bankrupt. If you guys haven't seen Penguin Zero's video about it, you definitely should because my golly gee, that's a crazy one. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah. Uh, I'm not sponsored by Moist, but I'm just saying. No, I'm just kidding. But no. But no, no, no. Being serious for a second. That's dumb. We just shouldn't be adding microtransactions because we want money. If you guys really want money, stop the microtransactions and just make a good game that people are gonna actually want. Because do you know how many people uninstall MW2 every day or uninstall Warzone every day because they're just either it gets too much or it's annoying or you get that they really want something and like I missed it on the battle pass. Maybe have a battle pass, I guess. I don't think they should. I think it's kind of dumb to make you have to pay for it. But you know I bought the second battle pass for Modern Warfare 2, didn't even get the ghost skin. Infuriated, actually infuriated. I didn't get to get it because I didn't have the time to play it. I feel like if I'm paying $30 and I have a life, I feel like I should be getting everything. Why are the people, on the game all the time? Now going back to what I was saying earlier, there's a point where you're creative and there's a point of having no life. If you just sit around and do nothing but play Call of Duty all day and you don't ever get up, you don't make your food, whatever, that's laziness. Now getting caught into something really like creative that you're creating, that's different. But that's what I was going at mostly for the game thing was like creation games like arcade that I obsess over and Minecraft is reasonable. But, you know, I just think that I don't know where I left off. All I'm saying is don't make it so you have to pay for a skin because some people that would actually appreciate to have that and find it really cool um don't have the money for that. And it sucks because it's like you get a lot of these assholes, I'm sorry, but who they will pretty much they will get the skin and just and I get it, it's just a skin, it's just a game, I'm not a bully hunter. But um it's the fact that they want that skin because maybe they actually know what it's from and they like it or they think it's really cool or they want to enjoy it. Or sometimes I'll wear the regular, well, not the regular Milsim. I have the one with the face mask, the one that was in the MW3 thing. That was crazy. Not going to go into too much detail about it, but if you don't know, if you know, you know, though. But that Milsim, sometimes I'll just play him, and a lot of my guns don't even have like cool purple and green skins on them. It's just regular looking gun. Maybe throw on the tan or something because I want to feel like I'm in the game, you know. And so some people will want that skin because they wanna really enjoy it, and then they don't have the money for it though. So just think about the fact that adding money to something doesn't necessarily make it better, doesn't make you seem like a more successful company or business. Rather, it just kind of makes you seem greedy, as everybody knows. I don't think I should have to pay $20 for a skin for a the way my character will look in a video game that will then be reset in a couple months just to play it for a couple 20 months. $20 for a month, not even, because if you do stuff, you don't get to play it all that time. Or if the game is too big where you can't play the other games you enjoy, you have to delete it. So now you just wasted $20 on something. So maybe if you do add microtransactions, think about the fact that yeah, you get all these things for it, but that's only going to be that your people are only going to use that for maybe like 9 months most if they bought it and they're diehard and they get the next one and now they don't get any of that. So think about that. Maybe just make it $5. And that's the other thing that they don't realize. If you make it $5, you know how many more people are gonna buy it? More than times, more than that multiplied by four. So if you get 4 times as many people buying it, you're already getting the same profit. But let's say you make it $5, 4.99, 5.99, whatever, and 6 times as many, multiply that by 6. Now you just made more money because more people could afford it. The only reason they're not making as much money as they want and they keep doing all these new skins and everything is because they make it too expensive for anybody to actually get. Somebody who has a life and does other things is going to not want to pay that money. Yes, have I paid a lot of money for the skins? Yeah. But it's not because I wanted to just throw my money away. Was it a stupid decision? It was a very dumb decision, I will admit. I'm not proud of it. I could have used that money to go on a date with my girlfriend or something, you know. But it's the fact that that's pulls you in. But if they make it like $5, maybe who knows? Maybe they will get that effect where they're like, oh, it's only $5. I'll get four instead of one now because it's the same price. You know, like I get it. It's still a bad way to spend your money, but that's on them. Anytime they buy it, it's on them. But if you really want people to buy it, just make it cheaper, and more people will buy it. You'll get more profit, and more people will enjoy your game. That's it. It's easy. It's obvious. It's just make. I don't know how that doesn't compute to some people. I don't know. We'll think differently. Um, but I know this is taking me like about an hour. Um, hopefully you could sit through all of it, and I wasn't boring. I try not to be, but if it was, let me know. Honestly, don't be like that was great content, and then I keep posting it, and you just never watch them because you didn't actually like it. Say maybe, oh, it'd be cool if, every now and then you draw a sketch for it. Or if I could talk to my brother and see if he can make editing for me. I don't know if he can or will, but I can talk to him, and see if I can get somebody to maybe throw gameplay. Maybe if you want to see me doing gameplay, I'll record an hour of me playing some game and I'll just throw my voice on it if that's what you want. Or if you like this where I'm talking and interacting, just let me know, you know? If you don't, just let me know. Don't feel like you have to like it because you enjoyed it, and don't feel like you can't dislike it because you don't like it and you don't want to be rude. If you don't like it, you dislike it. If you like it, you choose to like it or not. But I would ask at least for comments. If you see this video and you're the only viewer, just please leave. I'll probably get like 2 views on this video, but I just spent an hour of my life. You know, if I could just get one comment saying, you know, oh, maybe you could work on this, maybe you could work on that. I didn't like this content because I liked it because, and maybe I can start to get my name out there and actually reach to people and change how people think and inspire people to make these cool ideas or try out these cool concepts or maybe, open their mind and help them feel more comfortable about something, about their paranoia or whatever it could be, and just, help people, you know. because I'm not doing this just for me because I'm bored, because I could be on the game right now. I kind of want to be to an extent, but I would rather just kind of share a little bit about my thoughts to people. So maybe this could be used as an experiment of how rapidly the brain can think about different things. Because I sat down and wrote that within not even 30 seconds. I wrote all of those ideas down. So maybe if this can be used as research, if somebody is doing a college thing and, you know, you can see how quickly somebody can think of different things to talk about, different topics, how people think of these topics, how people express themselves, whatever it is. If it's something like that, that's awesome. Let me know. That would be cool. If it's something like you were just bored, wanted to fall asleep, I fall asleep to Penguin Zero. So if you didn't fall asleep to this, I don't blame you, because I best videos. But anyways, weird horn or something out there. Oh, it's a song. I was so confused. Something's going on. I was hearing noises, you know. But just, give me your thoughts and your ideas and how I could work on it or what I can improve on, and whether what you really thought about the video. And if you thought it was dog shit, I'd rather you not just say it was dog shit. I'd rather you just say this wasn't my cup of tea. It wasn't my favorite kind of video. I wasn't a fan of it. But there are going to be those people out there that are just assholes and are going to say it's dog shit. So I can't really get around that. But yeah, hope you enjoyed it. Um, as much as I did explaining it to you, or more, or I actually really did actually like getting because there's a lot of times I want to talk about these topics. I'm going on still. A lot of times I want to go on to these topics and I don't, because feel like I have no one that actually cares to listen. But when I'm talking to you guys, or you, hey, whoever's watching, and I don't have to worry about them turning their head, even if they don't watch the whole video, I can at least say it in the confidence of feeling like I can actually explain it. And if somebody wants to know and I don't want to explain it, I can just show them this or whatever. So those are just a couple thoughts. Regardless of anything, this isn't probably going to be the last time I do it. I'll probably do it at least a few times, even if people don't want to hear it. Just because I enjoyed it. I personally enjoyed it. There's a lot of other topics I'm going to get through. I'm probably going to come back to a lot of these topics, talk a lot more about these topics, just because there's so much. This is an endless rabbit hole for me, if you couldn't tell. I probably left you guys on a cliffhanger about 10 times in there. I'm sorry. But it's just my brain's always running. Even when it's quiet, even when it's loud, I'm thinking through thoughts, and I can't shut them out. So sometimes the best thing to do is just talk. Like, while I'm talking to you guys, different thoughts are going in my head about different things. I'm still thinking about that Far Cry, like and then how infuriating. I'm sorry, how mind-boggling it is that they think that $20 for a character that you don't get to actually see during gameplay is reasonable. Like, yeah, I get to the third person mode, but I mean, yeah, you get to see your back, and I mean, the only thing, honestly, being real for a second, most of the skins have the regular everyday black, knee coverage and regular shoes. That's like most of the skins just have the regular basic outfit with a different mask. It's like I don't want to pay $20 for a different mask and my sleeves to be cut. You know, like I want, if I'm paying $20, I want to get some kind of new animation for my character that will make it more fun to play, even if it's a cool little taunt I can do while running around like CS:GO, or if it's something like, just something cool, or maybe like a status effect. Maybe every operator has a different perk in the way where, it's not like BO4 where, oh, somebody's ruined, you can't be ruined. No, anybody can be anybody like normal. Excuse me, at least on their team. Excuse me. But just every character has a different perk to them, like Dead by Daylight. Every character. Some characters, are can run faster, and some characters have more luck of unhooking, you know. Just the perk in, like, you know, maybe Ghost, um, his breath's automatically held. He doesn't. You don't hold your breath with Ghost anytime you're using a long range anything rifle. The you know, screen is still. And like Price, you can, um, what do you call it? Maybe you just, I don't know. Maybe you always have night vision goggles or something, and you can, or you have more visibility or something. You know, just something cool. And if you do want to add con and pro for each character, maybe Ghost, you can see less, but you're quicker and you can see better. And you know, it's just bringing Mace back would be a good one. You know, and maybe Mace would be the opposite. You could see more, but you're a lot less steady, and you don't move as fast, but you punch harder. You know what I mean? Which when I found out Ghost, how massive he is, just looking at him compared to all the other operators when you're in gameplay, yeah, everybody gameplay wise is set to 5'10". The average height 5'11". That's the average operator height when you're playing the multiplayer. In the storyline, he is 6'4". Bro is a beast, an actual tank. Bro, he should have been down there destroying the tank himself, bro. That's crazy. No, but like actually, that's super cool. It's not. I mean, realistically, I mean, you have 6'4" people all the time. That, you know, that's not like, oh, he's tall, he's crazy. It's also his muscle mass and speed for his height is absolutely insane, especially with his overall control. Um, and then just like, I don't know. I didn't know he was 6'4". And when I'm like watching that cutscene where they're all standing around, I'm looking at Gus. I'm like, damn, like that's actually scary. Maybe that's something that would be cool for Call of Duty. Instead of playing as the good guys throughout the game, play as the bad guys, and get chased by Simon Riley, bro. Like have that be a whole part of the game where Simon's after you, and like make it just absolutely terrifying. Where as you're continuing, you just see him watching you through buildings, and you can just see him scoping you out and just stalking you and getting ready to take you out. That would be eerie. Just make a whole game just focused on that, bro. Like actually 6'4", bro. You're like your character's 5'9", looking up and like this at this absolute monster with the skull on his face. That's like that's so cool to me, bro. That would be crazy. I would buy that in a heartbeat. I know I was talking about money, but that would be cool. Anyways, Hangover Gang, you already know. And yeah, I hope you guys did enjoy it though. Let me know how you feel, how you think, what you think I could work on. And I think that's about all, yeah. You guys have a great day. See you.